Juliet'2909 back for another episode of Reading the Wrong Way. Alright, now I know I'm a little slow on the more popular manga. It's not that I don't want to dive in with everyone else, it's more that I simply have an ever-expanding reading list to chisel away at. I finally made time for one I've been waiting a while to get on board with, and with its final volume fairly recently released, October of last year's recent, right? I thought it'd be a good time to finally review Vampire Knight by Matsuri Hino. The series is rated T+ for older teens. I think this is a good rating considering the complex storyline and graphic nature of the manga's subject. The blood-drinking scenes are pretty sexualized for a teen manga, though I suppose it's no worse than what happens in Twilight. There are some graphic fight scenes and circumstances of incest. Did I mention there's also blood? The series is complete at 19 volumes. Yuki's earliest memory is being alone as a child, lost in a winter storm and attacked by a bloodthirsty vampire. Her rescuer is Kaname Kuran, a pure-blood vampire of the highest status among his kind. Now 10 years since that day, Yuki has been adopted by Kyan Cross, the headmaster of Cross Academy, whose hope is for his school is a peaceful coexistence between his day class and night class students. However, the day class students are blissfully unaware that their nighttime counterparts are actually an elite group of vampire aristocrats under Kaname's leadership. Yuki is a guardian who keeps the peace between the two groups, with her childhood friend Zero Kiryu, who actually hates vampires after one destroys the life he once cherished. The headmaster's vision seems to hold up, but can the vampires really abandon their thirst for human blood and maintain a peaceful coexistence? Does Yuki's missing past hold clues that could help her cause, or will it only hurt her if she discovers what she lost? So, what do you need to know about the series? This is a pretty solid shoujo manga with a nice dark and twisted plot beneath its attractive characters. Instead of just building on the character relationships as with many of the shoujo manga that are published, this one has a separate storyline underlying thanks to the dynamics between the vampires, vampire hunters, and humans. There's a full hierarchy in the vampire world that operates as if it was its own entity, and in a way it kind of is. Everyone seems to have a bone to pick with everyone, so there's always some sort of conflict between groups, both internal and external. It does still contain your classic little love triangle, but it is a sweet one that has many twists and turns to it, with what I felt was a satisfying conclusion. The angst and violence is balanced nicely by light-hearted moments, whether it be the cold yet oddly satisfying insults thrown between Kaname and Zero, or the charismatic charm and wits of Ido. It isn't until much later in the series when the lightheartedness seems to fade to make room for the dramatic and swift conclusion of the main plot. Speaking of balances, there is also a nice balance between the vampires and their vampire hunter counterparts. No one, with the exception of the rare purebloods in most cases, can truly overpower the other. The vampires have their natural abilities and those specially granted to them, such as control of the elements or beguiling through different methods, but the vampire hunters and the school guardians wield weapons capable of killing a vampire. I felt the creator was careful to ensure the odds were relatively even on both sides. The artwork is definitely shoujo. The lines are soft with great detail put into the hair and eyes. Every character's eyes are a little bit different to represent their true nature. The women are all very beautiful and have slender frames. As to be expected of a vampire piece, the male vampires are all incredibly attractive, but luckily do not sparkle in the sunlight. The human girls at the school dote and fawn over them for their unnatural beauty and the mysterious atmosphere surrounding them, much to the disappointment of the unlucky male human students. There are bonus comics in every volume, very comedic in nature. These often relate to what happened in the previous chapter. Some other bonus comics include background stories for the characters, or things that happened in stories such as school goings-ons that aren't really shown or pertain to the main plot. In a few of the volumes, the author jokes about how her characters, who end the volume in awkward situations or poses, will have to remain like that until the next volume is released. There is an anime series, which is how I actually discovered the series. It pretty much follows the manga panel for panel, which I always enjoy. There are 26 episodes separated into 2 seasons, Vampire Knight and Vampire Knight Guilty, which can be purchased in a single complete volume. The anime ends at chapter 46, which is in the middle of volume 10. Where it cuts off is a good spot, leaving a viewer who has no plan to read the manga able to paint their own picture, but I assure you the manga ending is so worth it. There's also a fan book that was released, which is what I have right here. I'm going to go a bit in depth since I actually have it in my hands. Its contents cover about the same amount as the anime, up to and including Volume 10's contents. First and foremost are the beautiful color illustrations of the characters. The first few sections read like a school handbook, introducing readers to Cross Academy and its important students. Each main character's section includes a full page of pictures and a detailed bio of their interests and statistics. Sorry. A character analysis focused on their personality, hobbies, past and fighting ability, their schoolwork, extracurricular activities, and sports. There's a full-page sketch of their dorm room with notes from the author. There we go. The next 2 pages include something related to the character, such as Yuki's racing heart, Zero's poor luck, and Kaname's tips to be popular with the ladies, as well as comments and advice from other characters. The final page includes submissions from fans for a Q&A with the character, as well as advice or brainstorming on different topics related to the character. After that is a personality quiz to determine which male knight student you would partner with. I got Ido, which I'm quite okay with. He became one of my favorites as the series went on. The next section covers everything you could want to know about the vampires of the series, from their biology to how their society functions, their enemies, and a full tree showing their relationships. It also has a section on the more minor players in the plot, as well as fan-voted Who Do You Want to Drink Your Blood and Best Lines. It wraps up with sketches and an interview from the creator, as well as brief comments by the anime's voice actors. So I know that was a lot of information, but I hope if you haven't explored this series yet, it will encourage you to give it a try. And with summer quickly approaching, I can't promise I'll have on-time summer videos. Not that I ever do anyways, but I do try really hard. Libraries everywhere are starting to roll out their summer reading programs, and as always, I'm partaking in my local one. I'm going to be starting my summer off with the Shakespeare-inspired Juliet'S Nurse by Levine, and another long overdue book for me, Memoirs of a Geisha by Arthur Golden. If your library does a program like this, I encourage you to join it, especially if you read for leisure anyway. It's a good excuse to make time to read, and most offer cool prizes for participating. So, with that said, I'll see you next time.
When I was given freedom, oh, all I did was plead. When I turned back, there was nothing to see. You closed your doors before I could open mine. Now I know, now I see, it was a